Welcome to another episode of Wikipedia Wednesdays. You know the drill. I click a random article on Wikipedia. I take 10 minutes and learn about it, and then I come back and tell you what I learned. Let's see what we get today. All right, here we go. So let's click random article. Shahzada. All right, sounds very interesting. 10 minutes on the clock. And go. Okay, here we go. The Shahzada horse race. Okay, here's what I learned. The Shahzada horse race is a endurance race for horses. So think of the Tour de France, but for horse racing. And it happens in Australia once a year. This thing's been going on since 1981. That's over 40 years of horse races. These people have to travel 400 kilometers with riding horses, which is like 250 miles on a cross-country route, which is pretty crazy to think about. Some people have described it, or the race is self-described or described, I don't know, as the longest endurance race in the world. But then I looked at Tour de France, and it's like 2,000 miles, and that would kind of be considered an endurance race. Then you have like the Amazing Race. I don't know. That's kind of like cross-country. That's an endurance race. Don't know where this factoid came from, but some are proclaiming it as the longest endurance race in the world. It was named after the Arabian stallion Shahzada, foaled, and I guess foaled means born or created, in 1913, and the winner of two 300-mile endurance races carrying 13.5 stone, whatever that means. And then he was imported to Australia from England in 1925. So I guess the horse moved to Australia, and they said that this horse is a legend. He's done these 300-mile races, and he carried these stones, and so he's a workhorse. We need to honor him. And so in 1981, they created this horse race. So I did some searching and found the actual website for the Shahzada 400-kilometer test. Hello, to finish is to win is their motto. And there's all kinds of stuff. They had to cancel or postpone it because the tracks were getting muddy. Here was the interesting thing that I wanted to look at, and I thought this would be a nice little rabbit hole that we could go on today from our Wikipedia findings, because it's so cool to see all the things that you can learn by just doing a quick random search of something. But I found the founder. That's a good-looking dude. He looks like the kind of guy that would ride a horse that carries 13.5 pound stones for 300 kilometers. And there's Shahzada in all his or her glory. Let's take a look. Let's pick a couple and read some and see what we can find. All right, this is the guy who created it, so I got to see what this is all about. Let's see. Let's just pick a random place. Sanity prevailed, and after several cups of coffee, the idea of Shahzada was up and running. Throughout the next year, with the help and input from Jeff Rose, Paul Greaves, Alan McKinder, Paul Chandler, Rob McKenzie, and all these other people, the format of Shahzada was established. The Saturday before the first pre-ride, we had no idea how many riders would enter, but much to our surprise, 26 starters were going to be at the starting line at 4 a.m. So this thing starts at 4 o'clock in the morning. Every Shahzada has so many stories, it would need a book of large proportions. Maybe one day I will have nothing to do. Well, there you go. Maybe he should write a book. Okay, let's pick another one. Who seems like, what name sticks out to me here? Let's read Georgia Curry. All right. My Shahzada, Georgia Curry. People tell me that the steps, now I did read this about the steps during my search. The steps are like this huge mountain range that you have to climb So let's look up the steps. The steps Shahzada. So the steps are like this huge mountain range that you climb as you walk, like basically straight uphill with your horse, which I understand now as I'm watching it, the endurance that would need to be taken in order for this to in order to complete it. And I get now why they say to finish is to win, because I could definitely see how this would be super hard. So there it is. The steps. Imagine taking a horse up that. Okay? After you've been going at it for miles and miles. I mean, that's pretty insane. So let's go back to the story of what you said about. So let's see. Banjo and I worked all year preparing for the event. I guess Banjo is her horse. Let's see. The steps. Thursday was the day of the steps. Once again, because of all the rain, the course had to be changed. Looking for some positives. At least it wasn't stinking hot. Friday morning, I still have my riding buddy. I want to see the steps. So, the steps. She mentions the steps 8 times in this article. Thursday was the day of the steps. Okay, let's see. Alright, I thought I was pretty fit until I was halfway up the steps and blowing almost as much as a steam train. Seeing everyone at the steps cheering you on and supporting all of us really does give you the extra little boost to climb up to the top. So she made it. Seeing everyone at the steps. I worried so much about Banjo going up the steps. Let's see. He was just as mighty, complete the mini marathon. Banjo had done the step before. So yeah, the steps must be a big thing. This person, Georgia Curry, had a wonderful time at Shahzada. 6 years of homebred horses. 16 years of age on homebred horses. There's no better feeling. So, I'm interested. I've never heard of anything like this before. The Shahzada. Shahzada Endurance Race. Made by that guy right there. See if there's anything else interesting that we can look at. Let's see. Oh, the guy who won the last one. His first Shahzada, and he won it. Okay, let's go. Zeus was the name of his horse. And he diaries out the whole thing. Still wet and cold, but we're making it. Look at that. That guy's taking no crap from anybody. He said, me and Zeus, taking home the gold. Let's see. I have no recollection of what I ate for dinners, but I know I was well looked after by Faith Robinson, so shout out to Faith. Everyone helped me get through no matter how Shahzada had gone. Their Shahzada had gone. That is what made my Shahzada. It's pretty cool. Seems like a big old family here of horse riding people who are friends of misery. So there you go. The Shahzada race, the most incredible endurance race in the world, or as they claimed it to be, the longest endurance race in the world with horses, climbing up big mountains. Something you didn't know about until today, probably, because I sure as heck did not. And that's the beauty of Wikipedia, right? The beauty of the internet. Every day you can click on here and you can learn something new. And today I learned about this thing right here. The Shahzada horse and the Shahzada endurance race. And I hope you learned something too. That's going to do it for this week's Wikipedia Wednesday. I'll see you next Wednesday.